And it's lights out, away we go. And Sebastian Vettel did get a better start, but it's a short run down to the line, and Verstappen covers him off. Hamilton is trying to squeeze around the outside, and does so. There's a look up behind, but it's Verstappen, Hamilton, Vettel, and then Valtteri Bottas, Alex Albon, and Pierre Gasly as they head down the hill. Raikkonen tucked in behind Romain Grosjean. Kevin Magnussen wheel to wheel there with Lando Norris in the McLaren, but it's Verstappen out in front and pulling away. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable season. I hope you've enjoyed it along with us, and for one last time, it's lights out and away we go! Lewis Hamilton gets away well, Max Verstappen slips in behind him, Charles Leclerc ahead of Sebastian Vettel, Alex Albon has the McLaren of Lando Norris for company, but as they all go through the top 10 unscathed, going wheel to wheel, the McLaren of Sainz with Nico Hülkenberg as well. I think Lance Stroll down at the back went off at the first turn, and the 2 Racing Points back on the track as well.
Hello F1 and IndyCar fans, today is December 9, 2019. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, Black Friday as well. 2 days ago, as you know, we all stood in silence saluting those soldiers who sacrificed their lives on the surprise attacks at Pearl Harbor back in 1941. And as usual, our armed forces continue to defend our country's independence and freedoms. To get on with the reviews of the Brazilian and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we'll start with the Samba down in South America. Starting with Max Verstappen, who started from pole to checker. His first pole victory and his 8th overall victory in Formula 1. Congratulations to the Red Bull Honda driver. Second place goes to Scuderia Toro Rosso Honda's Pierre Gasly of France, who managed to hold off Lewis Hamilton at the line for second. Pierre's best F1 finish thus far. So it was a Honda 1-2, and the best part was it was on Soichiro Honda's birthday. And Soichiro Honda, for those who don't know, is the founder of the Honda car company. Born in 1906 on November 17th. I'm sure his spirit would appreciate that very much. So, to the late Honda son, omedetou, and belatedly speaking. Now, Hamilton would have taken that third place, but since he tangled 2 laps from the finish with Alexander Albon of Red Bull, he got penalized a few positions back, giving Carlos Sainz Jr. of Spain his best career finish of 3rd in the McLaren Renault. Not a bad way to start. Quite an appealing orange you've got with that orange appeal, Carlos. As for the Ferrari charge, well, I hate to say it, but once again, the Italian horse was put out to pasture. Once again, congratulations to Max Verstappen, and the fact that Red Bull gives you wings, giving the Flying Dutchman just what he needs to samba down in Brazil. Well, there you have it. Now on to Abu Dhabi. It can be said at last that Lewis Hamilton maintained his dominant winning ways by starting on the pole and winning it all with some donuts in the end, making him greater still. Just 1 championship away from tying up with Michael Schumacher's 7 world championships, having already won his 6th. We'll see what Lewis Hamilton is capable of with the Silver Arrows next year in 2020. Second place was Max Verstappen in the Red Bull Honda, once again in Abu Dhabi. And third place, even though Ferrari got charged and fined for some fuel troubles, Charles Leclerc managed to keep his 3rd place finish for Ferrari. As for Vettel, another race to forget in his case. Still, it was quite an interesting show. And Bottas, having had to start from last place, put on a charge, finishing in the top 6. We'll see where he goes in 2020. It's true that while Lewis Hamilton's contract runs out at the end of the 2020 season, there have been talks that he might go to Ferrari in 2021, but I wouldn't bet on that. Although it would be a sight to see. But I wouldn't get my hopes up even the slightest bit on that, because suppose for those of you who start getting your hopes up even the slightest bit because of Hamilton, if he ends up renewing his contract with Mercedes and not go to Ferrari at all, I'm afraid this is where your hopes are going to end up, people. Still, it's good to dream about it. But where would that put Leclerc or Vettel? Who knows? In IndyCar news, You may have heard by now how James Hinchcliffe lost his McLaren Arrowsmith-Pearson ride because of his tie-ins with Honda and McLaren's ties in with Chevy. And he's out of a ride. But then, you know what, surprisingly enough, I recently found out so too is Spencer Pigot at Ed Carpenter Racing full-time. And Sebastian Bourdais, even more shocking, is out at Dale Coyne Racing because of lack of Honda sponsorship funding for the Frenchman. So, well, Seb doesn't have an IndyCar ride for 2020. He at least has a full-time ride in sports cars next year in IMSA. But where does Spencer Pigot go from there? Who knows? Rinus VK of the Netherlands will take over Spencer Pigot's position, while number 20 on the oval courses will still be run by the team owner, Ed Carpenter. And for the road courses, that number 20 will be driven full-time by Connor Daly. Isn't that a surprise? But when an Indy 500 effort, Ed Carpenter, Connor, and Rinus will make it a 3-car entry for the Indianapolis 500. Now, as for Dale Coyne Racing, there's 3 drivers on Dale's shortlist as he flips his coin to see if it's heads or tails for Dale. Who will get it? For Dale and Gail Coyne to decide who gets tails and heads? We'll see. But in the end, with Dale being the head and tails whatnot, he has the final word. So the 3 people ahead of this short list, as we flip a coin to see if it's tails or heads with Dale, is James Hinchcliffe of Canada, Alex Palou of Spain, I don't know if I pronounced that right, and Seti Camara of Brazil, or Sergio Seti Camara, I should say. But we will see where funding, sponsorship, and engine leases go with Dale Coyne Racing. Earlier these past few weeks, the Formula E rounds kicked off in Saudi Arabia the weekend before Thanksgiving, and it was Audi Envision Virgin winning the first race under Sam Bird, and Andretti BMW winning under Alexander Sims. Great race by the 2 Brits in German powertrains. As for the Jaguar teams, well, I have to say, Mitch Evans finished, sorry for saying Nelson Piquet, I was so used to him for saying being with Jaguar for a long time, but as for the first of 2 rounds in the Saudi Arabian race, it was Mitch Evans of New Zealand finishing 10th for the Jaguar team, while his new teammate James Calado of Britain finished 7th in the second round. But that was the best Jaguar could muster up in terms of top 10 finishes in both the rounds. So we'll see what happens in Santiago, Chile in January when it comes to the Formula E rounds. I'm sure every cat in the world is not happy that their species Jaguar lost. In fact, let's ask what my sister's cat Meatball has to say about it. Yeah, I can see you're grumpy that Jaguar lost. Better luck next time. Yeah, and I'm sure the infamous Grumpy Cat was frowning down from heaven about her British cousins, indeed, about this. Well, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed my videos. Like and subscribe if you like my videos. And I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, like Jody Scheckter would, or a Happy Kwanzaa. And in the end, see you next season, everyone. I'm Aaron Cylinder, firing on all cylinders.